Alright, what's up everybody? This is Taco Bill Kafer here with another Decktech for you. Today we're taking a look at the Communing epic event, specifically looking at the Master Kenobi deck here. It's a fun mains platform that does cool things with Master Kenobi, which we'll dive right into right now. So what we're starting here, we're starting with any site that has the Communing icon there. So we're going to start with Dagobah Yoda's Hut V. We don't specifically need to use Master Yoda with that, so that's a fun little loophole. Then we're going to use I Am Part of the Living Force to get Communing, the epic event. And our three effects are going to be I Must Be Allowed to Speak virtual, Sator Kalfas virtual, and Wakling virtual. So what are we doing, right? I said we're a mains deck, we're doing cool things, right? One of the options we can do is we can sit back on our locations. We've got the Cantina and Mos Eisley. We can set up on one of those two locations with, you know, maybe a Luke, maybe a Rey with a lightsaber. And then during our control phase, we can shuffle over and we can drain for 2 and 3, so we can do extra damage for effectively controlling one site. The other option we have is we're a mains deck, right? We can go fight our opponent with big characters and lightsabers, right? Real fun. So we got a couple of restrictions with the deck on Master Kenobi here. So you can't deploy Jedi except Yoda. So this deck has a couple Yodas, but doesn't have anything like, you know, Qui-Gon with Saber or even Ahsoka. You also can't deploy permanent weapon cards, so we're missing out on, you know, maybe a Baze Malbus with cannon, Captain Yutani with cannon, or something like a Lando with axe, which would have fit right in this deck. Alright, so let's take a look at our character package, right? I mentioned it's a mains deck several times now, so we've got 4 Master Luke virtuals. He's kind of the new hotness in Luke's, and because we can't play Jedi, he's definitely the best choice. We've also got, like I said, we've got 2 Yoda, we've got 2 Rey, we've got 2 Anakin, 2 Leia, 2 Lando, so not a super diverse character package, but definitely a powerful character package. And then we round it out with some of our support characters. So you've got a Padme, you've got a Jin, you've got a Chirrut here, you've got Captain Hera, right? And you've got 3PO, of course, to cycle cards. The space package in this particular build is not as robust. So we do have the 1 Han Chewie Falcon, and then we do have the 1 Leia's Resistance Transport. So really what we're trying to do with that space package is just kind of hold our own in space for a turn or 3, right? Satisfy battle order for a turn or 3 so that we can drain on the ground. Alright, so what do we do in turn 1, right? So we get 5 force on turn 1, we get 2 from the hut, 1 from Wakling, 1 from a Jedi Communing, 1 for ourselves, plus whatever our opponent gives us. So what we're going to do turn 1, we're basically going to use I Must Be Allowed to Speak to pull a farm. Then we get to use Master Kenobi to pull a related site, so usually we're going to pull out Mos Eisley. If we did find one of our Return of the Jedis or our Were You Looking For Me, we might pull out that Obi's Hut or that 3PO and get him going. But then I would suggest you're probably just going to draw cards on turn 1, right? You're not really trying to do anything super great on turn 1. You can't win the game on turn 1, but you can lose it. So better to play conservative, draw a couple cards, and drop a couple people on turn 2. Alright, so if we're left alone, what are we going to do? Like I said, we're going to use that Mos Eisley Cantina Shuffle. Set up 2 lightsabers, hopefully, at the Cantina or at Mos Eisley, and move to the other one during our control phase, and then move everybody back together at the end of the control phase. So that way we effectively get to, you know, do 4, 5, 6 damage-ish if we're able to pay to drain. And we really only have to worry about that one site. If somebody's going to battle into you, you've got plenty of tricks in this deck. The deck wants to battle, right? So one of the biggest ones here is I Can't Believe He's Gone. So that's going to allow us to either activate 1 or add 1 to a just drawn battle destiny during any battle. We've also got Master Kenobi himself. He adds power to to rebels in battle. So he adds 5 power if Luke is in battle, or 3 power if any other rebel is in battle. And that does work in space as well, so don't forget that. We've got other tricks, right? So Return of a Jedi, in addition to pulling Obi's Hut, also can add a destiny, since we do have Kenobi Communing. However, just be careful that you don't stack Yoda on Communing as well when you lose Yoda, because that takes away our ability to add destinies with the Return of a Jedi. You've also got stuff like Run Luke Run, Sorry About the Mess, Clash of Sabers, right? All these battle tricks. And you've got a Luke's Bionic Hand or 2 to get them back during subsequent battles. And then the last thing we have here is Advantage. So if we are able to get rid of, you know, one of those big dark side characters, we can play Advantage. Works kind of like Legendary Starfighter, causing damage during opponent's move phase just because they lost a Dark Jedi. That's unfortunate. Other cards you can consider, right? So like I said, this is a bit lower, or a bit Other cards you can consider, right? So like I said, this is a bit smaller on the space side, right? So maybe you want to play a second Leia's Rebel Transport, Leia's Resistance Transport. Other cards you can consider, right? So I said this one is a little light on the space, right? So maybe we add a little more space, maybe a second Leia's Resistance Transport. I mean, you can go crazy. You can play Home 1, right, with Admiral Akbar. You can set up the Tatooine system. You can set up Tatooine Celebration. Got a whole bunch of possibilities there for you. You can also change kind of the composition of the deck a little bit. So with the errata to the Imperial Detention Shield for Darkside, you only get to use I Must Be Allowed to Speak to search your use pile when you deploy to a farm in this deck. But what we could do is change around the sites a little bit, maybe center around Jabba's Palace a little more, play the Antechamber or Jabba's Palace itself. That allows us to get use pile pools whenever we deploy one of our characters there. If you're going to go that route, I'd suggest building a little more around Ability 3 Rebels and playing... You've got a lot of guts coming here, right? So that'll get you extra power, extra forfeit for those Ability 3 Rebels that you want to add. So maybe you switch out the Han Chewie Falcon for a General Han, or we can consider some other Ability 3 Rebels. Other lists that you can check out in addition to this one is generally my list. You can check out Hayes Hunter's list from Nationals. He did win the event with an Obi Communing list. His is a little heavier on space, and they do have the Intruder Missile in there as well to help shoot anything down. Just keep in mind 2 key pieces when you're looking at any older lists, that 2 key pieces were errated, right? So that Master Luke only works when he's by himself now instead of all the time. And then I Can't Believe He's Gone only works on battle destinies instead of any destiny, right? So, alright, that's the deck. Thanks for joining me for this Deck Tech, and we look forward to seeing you for more.